Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who want to build million-dollar businesses without sacrificing their health, relationships, or happiness, who understand that in order to build their empire, they need a solid foundation, and that the more they are thriving, the more their business is thriving too. This show brings you the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist turned mindset and high-performance coach for entrepreneurs, and I help you get wired for success. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Wired for Success podcast, where we talk about all things science, self-development, and entrepreneurship that help you get to that next level of success in your life and business. And my guest today is Eduard de Wilde, the founder of LiveHelfi, the leading biohacking supply reseller in Europe, and NoordCode, a premium brand of supplements and functional food that offers clean formulated products, pure ingredients, and European quality. And I always love talking with other biohackers, so I'm really looking forward to this interview today. Welcome, Eduard, and thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor. Thanks.
This is going to be so much fun. So, Eduard, let's start with the fundamentals. So, what is biohacking, and what are some of the biohacking principles that you live by?
Yeah, I think the biohackers they want to they don't consider normal to be normal, and they want to upgrade themselves, and they do it by applying 3 principles, and that is measuring their performance, and the measuring that could be anything. That could be blood values, their athletic performance, the fitness, the sleep, the DNA, the biological age, whatever. And then the next thing is that they run experiments, so they, everybody is different, and so you have a different history, you have a different DNA, you have a different setup, a different environment. So what works for one person doesn't mean that it also works for another person. So you want to design, you want to design your personalized lifestyle. And the only way to do it is to run experiments on yourself and to measure it and to see if it works. And if it works, then you keep it. And if it doesn't work, then you start another experiment and try some, workarounds to see if something else will work. And so that's the second one. And the third one is that that biohackers want to be as scientific based as possible. And that's a little bit controversial, because the hardcore scientists say, okay, what you are doing now, it's tested on mice or tested on whatever animal, and not, there's not a human clinical trial on it, so it's not proven. And I think there many biohackers enter a little bit the gray zone and think, okay, I think when it's safe, I can apply it to myself, because, if you think about healthy aging or anti-aging, which is very hot in the biohacker scene, then many people say, okay, I can wait for a clinical trial, and that will take 30 years or 40 years before it proves that it helps with anti-aging. But I don't have the time, because I will be dead when the trial is over. So I just apply it to myself. So and then you have all all kind of degrees of how biohackers, how they approach their, the system. You have the extreme ones. You have the Brian Johnsons, and and you have just, the regular people that just want to know how many steps they take and how they sleep, and see how they can improve the sleep and what impacts the sleep. That's the other part. So most people think when you're talking about biohacking, then it's about all kinds of applying extreme technologies and dangerous things. But it's as simple as it is. It is just measuring it, experimenting with things, and trying to get a lifestyle, to design the lifestyle that will upgrade your performance. That's it. So I can't make it more difficult.
Yeah, it's about being your own guinea pig, right?
Yeah, and that's fun in a way.
And
At least
running
I think it's
experiments.
fun. Yeah, yeah.
I'd love to learn more about two of the important journeys that you're on. One is your entrepreneurial journey, and the other one is, of course, your biohacking journey. And since it looks like the two are really intimately linked, I'll let you choose where to start and where to take this.
I think I need to start with the biohacking journey because as many. I think 90% of the biohackers, they started biohacking because they had a health issue, and that's also that happened to me as well. So almost 24 years ago, when I went to Cameroon with friends, we had to go into the rainforest, and there was malaria in the rainforest. I had to take an prophylaxis, Lariam.
Mhm.
And Lariam is now known about the side effects that can happen. And I didn't know about it. I just took it. And I got a really, really severe anxiety and panic disorder because of it. So when we entered the rainforest, I could sit, in the back of the Cessna that flew us into the forest. And when I came back, I didn't even dare to go in a Boeing 747 to fly back home. And when I was walking on the street, I thought I would die on the spot. So that was quite heavy, and it made it very hard for me to perform. At that very moment, I became a partner in a consultancy company, and I've been trying for 6 years to combine that disorder with performing as a partner in the business. But in the end, after 6 years, then struggling, the psychiatrist, I tried everything. I tried every medical and alternative complementary medical therapy you can imagine, everything. But it didn't help. And so the psychiatrist, he told me, okay, Eduard, your brain is damaged. So you have to learn to live with it. And that's not how you want to live your life for the rest of your life. And so I thought, okay, I have to find another way. And that led me into health and a healthy lifestyle. And I thought, okay, maybe I can support the healing powers of my body in order to deal with it. And so I learned about Marxism, and in my opinion, he's the godfather of paleo, and he wrote the Primal Blueprint. So I read the book. I read all his articles on Mark's Daily Apple, his blog, and I applied immediately everything that he talked about, and everything. So the way he exercised, nutrition, how to improve sleep, all the things that he was talking about. And immediately, within a few years, I felt a huge difference. And I thought, okay, this is something that is interesting, because I feel as if I have more energy, I have less anxiety, so things are improving. And then I started to listen to all the other thought leaders, so Bob Wolf, and in the end, I ended up with Dave Asprey. And Dave Asprey, in that period, he started with his Bulletproof Radio, and he was the first one that talked about biohacking. And so I thought, okay, that's interesting. So I want to run those experiments and experiment with supplements and further improve my lifestyle. And after a few years, I suddenly thought by myself, I'm feeling so good. I don't have, I'm not sick anymore. So I was able to heal myself just by applying those principles in my lifestyle. And I found it so interesting, so fascinating, that I thought, okay, I want to make this my work, because I spent 15 years of my life discovering how how powerful your lifestyle can be for staying healthy and becoming healthy and enable your body to do what you want. I even had more energy than even before I became sick 15 years later.
Wow.
And then I thought, okay, I was a digital strategy consultant. So I helped the big corporations with the digital transformation and e-commerce strategies and omni-channel strategies. And the frustration I always had is that when you are a consultant, you are dependent on a company to do what you think, what you hand over to them. And then I thought, okay, I always dreamed about selling online, already in 1994 when the internet showed up. I thought, how cool would it be to have an online shop? And finally in 2015, I thought, okay, I am using those bulletproof products. I'm drinking bulletproof coffee. I take those supplements that those thought leaders are talking about, but I couldn't order them in Europe. And I thought there are more people like me, and there is an opportunity to import those and to get the hassle out of shipping and ordering from the United States to the Netherlands to Europe. So that's why I started LiveHelfi.
Awesome.
And the purpose is that I want to inspire people to see the power of a healthy lifestyle, to show them that they don't have to spend 15 years finding it out themselves, but telling them my story, my learning experiences, so that they can have the benefits faster than I did. And that's way more fulfilling than helping a big corporation, helping them to transform, because it's different. It's way more fun and rewarding to help people than big corporates.
For sure. What an interesting story. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, as you said, you have been a biohacker for the last 20 years. So what are the key lessons that you have learned during that time? And how has the field of biohacking evolved over that time span?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned is that you have to design a lifestyle that you can maintain. And it sounds maybe a little bit too simple, but if when I watch people starting with biohacking and when I watch the biohacking scene, there are many people, they are becoming way too focused on applying all the principles, so it becomes almost a job. And they get also anxious when they for example, in the biohacking scene, seed oil is not done because it's considered toxic. And then when I go out for dinner and with the biohacker, and he forgot to ask the cook with what oil he was cooking, and then suddenly it has to be vegetable oil, and they start to panic. Because in one dish there is some vegetable oil, and then I think, okay, now it's becoming, you are over the edge. It's not sustainable because you can't, if you want to do this all the time, then you get an anxious life and an anxious person, and so stay relaxed. There are billions of people that can survive having seed oils, so you won't die when you have one tiny drip of it. And it's just one example, and so there are many other examples, of course. So what I'm convinced that when you apply the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule, so when you follow your principles 80% of the time, and allow yourself to enjoy life, to go with the flow, the 10 or 20% of your life, you already have a huge benefit compared to 100% unhealthy lifestyle. And it enables you not to be the weird person at the table who doesn't want to drink a glass of wine, or and that's the wrong example, because people should be able to not drink. You should not be able to be considered a weird person when you don't drink alcohol, but you know what I mean. So
I know what you mean.
Yeah, in the Netherlands you have those bitterballs. Those are those tiny balls that you put in the fat, and it is heated, and you drink it. You eat it when you have a drink, and those are not healthy. But I just take them when I feel like it, and you know, at that moment I just enjoy it. I enjoy the moment, and then when I'm back home again, I can apply the principles again that I know are beneficial for me. So I think that's one of the most important advices that I would give to people, to stay relaxed and apply the 80-20 rule.
That's such an important point. That's exactly how I see it as well. Because I think once you get over that edge and you become paranoid and you just worry about stuff all the time, that's when you really, that mindset shift. I mean, there's so many studies out there right now that are showing how your mindset actually influences your physiology. Yeah. So once you get into that state, you're actually not doing yourself any favors anymore. So it would be more beneficial to just enjoy the food, like you said, instead of worrying about it. So
exactly. Totally. The mind and the body are one, and you can influence your body with the mind, and vice versa. So that's very, very important indeed.
And, the body-mind connection.
Yeah, and I think the other one is that you should stay very critical when you follow the big thought leaders. And if you follow, you know, people on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever, then most of the, you know, the big influencers, they have one story, and they are very proficient in advertising that story. And it could be carnivore, or it could be vegan, or it could be keto, or it could be fasting, or it could be ice bath. And in my conversations with other biohackers, they start to think that they have to do exactly what they tell them, because it's very convincing what they are telling. So in the end, they apply very extreme tools. So they think they have to take an ice bath 7 days per week, or they have to fast 24 hours per day, or they have to fast 5 hours or 5 days in a week, 3 times per quarter, or whatever. And then I start to get worried, because it's all about balance, you know, I don't believe in extremity. I don't believe that's healthy for a human being. I don't believe that vegan is healthy. I don't believe that carnivore is healthy, because for me it's too extreme. And also, right, it's also with fasting. You know, sometimes you can fast all day because you are in a perfect shape. You are well rested. There's no stress in your body. But sometimes, you know, when you are a little bit stressed, when I measure that I don't have a very high readiness, then maybe it is not a good idea to fast, because it's a stressor. And
exactly,
when you put too many stresses on your body gets stressed. And maintaining that balance is very important. And that's why I think that it's very important for everybody, when they are watching those thought leaders, that they stay very critical and think by themselves, okay, this is interesting, it's intriguing, but how can I apply it for myself in a healthy way? And maybe do some research yourself, maybe look at the science yourself and see if you can back up see backups of those claims in science. And then when you can't find any science, maybe you should think, okay, it's maybe okay for him, but not okay for me. And I think that's very important. That's what I learned.
Yeah. Again, I agree totally, because when you start to be too extreme and you do it for a longer period of time, your body actually loses the ability to adapt. You kind of get stuck in whatever you've been doing. So it's always the case of use it or lose it with your physiology. So if you don't use certain metabolic pathways for too long, they will get compromised. So I always think that having a balance, like have that sugary cake piece once in a while. That's okay. Your body can adapt, and you just stay metabolically flexible. Don't worry about it too much. So totally agree. Do you have a favorite biohack? And if so, would you like to share it with our audience today?
Yeah, for me, the favorite one that I use on a permanent basis in my life is the ice bath, and so I have one at home. I built it myself. I made it from a chest freezer, and so I think, what is it? 9 years ago, I had my first Wim Hof method with Wim Hof himself, and he was not known at that time. He just in a very small room. He raved about the benefits of the breathing and the ice bath, and then I had my first ice bath, and it was so overwhelming, powerful experience. That I thought, okay, I have to do it, because I only can do it here in the winter. You can swim outside and then it's 5 degrees or 8 degrees, but I want to do it all year. So when in the morning, part of my daily routine in the morning is that I, not every day, but when I feel like it, I do first the Wim Hof method to activate my body. So the breathing, and after that I do some stretching, and then I go into my ice bath, and you feel completely, I feel completely different after it, and one way it makes me happy just to do it. And there are a lot of discussions about the benefits, and if it's all science-based, what people are talking about, I don't care. What I feel better after it, and that's, for me, that's the most important.
It's all the proof you need, right?
The proof that I need. Yeah.
Right. How long do you stay in there?
It depends on the temperature. So when it's 0 degrees, so I want to go. I want to have a hard experience as possible. Okay. So I keep it around 0 degrees. Then it's about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and when it's 4 degrees, I can make it 4 minutes. But I never go too long. For me, it's not a game. Many people, when taking ice bath, they rave about how long they were able to sit in the ice bath, but that doesn't make sense to me. I think for me, to know whether I stay too long is how long it takes me to recover.
Yeah.
And
sure.
And sometimes, when I'm sitting in there for too long, then it takes me 4 hours to get warm again. And then for me, that's a sign that it was too long. And but that's what I like. That's my favorite biohack. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Now, one thing a lot of biohackers have probably noticed is that there are things that you can do that are basically free or don't cost much, like sunlight or cold showers or exercise and so on. And then there are premium options like infusions and scans and lots of supplements. What has been your most expensive failed biohacking experiment so far?
I'm a gadget guy, so there are quite a few gadgets that I don't use anymore. I don't know if there are failed, if you can call it failed. Maybe they are failed because I don't use them anymore. So I have an HepB, and the HepB is a device that should improve your HRV, and but I didn't feel anything, and it was quite an expensive tool, and you know, I've a nervous vagus stimulator that cost me €250, and then I don't like that experience. It's not for me. It doesn't bring anything. So I think those are for me expensive experiments because in the end it costs a lot of money and it doesn't help. And that's maybe also something that you have to be aware of, that when the thought leaders that I mentioned, when they endorse a product, many of them are paid for it, and so you have to also be very, very aware of the fact that, you know, is this a person that after a year is still using that gadget, or is it just a one-time promotion because he earns a lot of money with it? And I must admit that sometimes I just fall into that trap and buy it because I think he's talking about it or she's talking about it, and so that I think those are my most important mistakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'd love to learn more about your two supplement companies.
Yeah.
Do you know by heart what the top selling products are in those two companies?
Yeah, so in NoordCode, our electrolytes, they are extremely popular, and that was a hit. We introduced them last year, and those are electrolytes without the sugar. So most of the energy drinks, they contain a lot of sugar, and we want to get rid of all the nasty ingredients. And it was an instant hit. Also the collagen is a very popular product because, you know, that's very simple. It's also, there's a lot of science behind it that you are lacking collagen when you get older. So that's also very simple to use. I think those are the big ones. The big ones, yeah. And then you have, of course, all kind of other supplements. You have, you know, nootropic Qualia Mind is in LiveHelfi is very popular, and the Qualia Senolytics are very popular. The NR is becoming more popular. The nicotinamide riboside, that is, you know, the other compound than NMN. So NMN is very popular, and but it's not allowed to be sold anymore in Europe, and so there are still companies offering it, but it's not allowed, and we want to follow the regulations, and NR is supposed to be as effective as NMN, and and you see that that is picking up.
Right.
But also, things like magnesium, you know, the
classic. The classics.
It's a classic, yeah, and so for NoordCode we created one with 6 different forms of magnesium in one capsule.
Oh, that's nice. Do you have the magnesium threonate as well in
no,
there?
That's forbidden.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the frustration of a European company. You have to follow the rules, and Europe is quite conservative. And on one hand, that's good because you don't want all kinds of dangerous supplements entering the market. But on the other hand, things like threonate, it's proven to be a safe supplement. So it's a shame that it is not allowed to be sold here. And also things like monk fruit, it's a sweetener.
Mm-hmm.
It's consumed by 1 billion people, I believe, in the world, and considered to be very safe, but it's not allowed to be sold in Europe as well.
That's interesting. And what's the reason for not allowing threonate? Do you know?
Because it is not proven to be safe. That's the only reason.
Okay.
And, so that's what they check, the EFSA, when they allow supplements. Then you have, when it's not produced or used before 1997.
Yeah, that's then
it's considered a novel food, and a novel food, you should have a clinical evidence on humans that it is safe to consume. And there is still not a company. I think one or two applied for admission, so it is in process, but it is not proven to be safe yet for the EFSA.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm really curious. What does your own supplement protocol look like? What do you take?
I must admit that I vary a lot because
Sure.
Because I'm a guinea pig for our own shop and our supplements, so I try every new product that we have in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually take a multivitamin. This month I tried the NAD complex of Neurohacker Collective, and that's NR combined with different other forms of B vitamins that are all involved in the process of making NAD and some resveratrol in it. In the morning, I also take Quality of Mind during the week in order to be able to focus, to have a cognitive performance. I use astaxanthin, omega-3, and that's what I take when I don't eat fatty fish. I normally eat a lot of fatty fish, so that's not always part of my day. But it's in my in my how do you call it, the supplement storage, and so it's astaxanthin, curcumin, CA-AGG, senolytics, and senolytics is then the combination of fisetin and quercetin, spermidin, magnesium. One day I take GABA and L-theanine, and one day I don't take it.
For sleep?
Sorry?
For sleep?
For sleep?
Yeah.
Creatine. And creatine is also a very interesting compound because it's also very well researched and science-backed, not only for building muscle, but also for your mental health. So it's also an interesting healthy aging compound. The collagen, of course, and when I exercise, whey protein, and I think then I covered, lion's mane.
Oh yeah.
Chaga. I think I covered 80 or 90% of the things that I take.
What about the adaptogens?
Sorry?
What about the adaptogens? Any adaptogens?
I think the curcumin is an adaptogen, and the mushrooms are adaptogens. So
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And like rhodiola, or anything like that?
No, I've been taking them, but I don't feel a lot of difference. That doesn't mean that it doesn't work, but it's not part of my my daily stack.
Right. Now, what does your diet and your exercise routine look like?
I also change it a lot. I experiment with my diet, but at the moment I don't eat in the morning. So that's I apply the 8 hours, so the 68 rule. And someone advised me to have a breakfast, and then I just don't feel like having a breakfast, because then I feel full in the morning. I don't like it. I don't feel hungry in the morning. And it's a very easy way for me to keep my calories in place. When I eat everything that's on my plate. So for me, it's a hack just to keep it under control. And so during the lunchtime at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., I have a salad. So I eat a lot of raw vegetables and some protein with it, and olive oil. So that's my staple lunch. And in the evening, when I exercised, I have more carbs. When I haven't exercised, I eat less carbs, and then it's vegetables and meat and fish. And a few days per week, we don't eat meat, but then it's more vegetarian, I think that's it.
Sounds great. Now, biohackers are notorious for tracking and measuring everything. What do you personally track, and what are your favorite wearables?
So, but the Oura Ring is by far my favorite one. So I bought the first one when it was launched. Then it was still, very clumsy, very big, but I really like the app. It's the data and how the data are organized, the KPIs, and it really facilitates me to keep track of the things that I do on a day, and to see how it affects my sleep and my performance, my readiness the next day. So that's my favorite tool. But I tracked also, my ketones when I want to become, the moment when I wanted to become more metabolic flexible, I wanted to track to see if I'm in ketosis or not, and when, and what I had to eat to become in ketosis. So I had periods that I pricked my fingers 3 times per day in order to get the blood sample and do the ketone testing. But now I have a ketone device, so it's very sophisticated. The ketonics that you can breathe in, and it should be very reliable, showing you if you are in ketosis or not. The blood values I test. I have all kinds of DNA testing, so I have a DNA file. And then I try all kinds of different sites to upload my DNA to the site, and to see with what kind of results they come back with, and see if I can find some actionable things. And I don't know. I think the DNA tests are still in its infancy, and I really don't know if it's really. If you really can implement it to see significant differences in how you feel, but I'm still figuring it out. And I did a biological age test, so that the glycan age test, heart rate variability I measure on a regular basis. So I have the HeartMath Inner Balance is also one of my favorite devices. It's a combination. You can measure things, but you can also train your heart rate variability. So that's a really powerful tool. I think those are the most. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Now, a lot of biohackers, they really prioritize the physiology side of health. In your opinion, how important is psychology and mindset for staying healthy? And what do you personally do for your mental and emotional health?
Yeah, so of course that's extremely important, and you can see also now in the biohacking scene that the spirituality is also coming up. So when you go to the biohacker summits, then more and more presentations are about spirituality. So I did a lot of meditation. I also practiced Qigong Qigong for that purpose. Meditating itself, it's not something I like to do, and maybe that's the reason why you should do it, but
Exactly.
I think it's very hard for me. But I have a device, and it's a very cool device. It's this one, and
yeah.
I always forget the name, and so it's the Sensei, and I also use that in the morning, and it's a neurofeedback trainer. And if you ask me what are your most expensive, valuable investments in biohacks, then it was the 50 years, not the 50 years of Zen, because that's the competitor, but it was the same approach by James Hart, the inventor of 40 years of Zen, sorry. And that's a 5 days neurofeedback training, very intensive in Germany. And you can use it to use alpha waves to deal with traumas in your life. And when I learned about this device on the Health Optimization Summit in London, I had exactly the same experience as I had during that training, that 5 days training that cost a fortune. Right. So the 5 days double experience is about 20,000 euros. And if you want to do it with James Hart himself, then it's 80,000 euros for 5 days. Mm-hmm. And here I have a device. It's expensive, but I'm very happy that this is not a failure for me, because I think it's about 1,100 or 1,200 euros. Mm-hmm. But here you have your neurofeedback at hand, and it is a combination of neurofeedback training and meditating. And when I do it in the morning, and it's a 20 minutes exercise, and when you create those alpha waves, you feel or you hear the music changing in your ears. Mm-hmm. So you create your own symphony. So that's the feedback that you get. So the more better waves you create, the louder the sounds, the more instruments you hear.
So cool.
And at the same time, it's a meditating experience. And for me, that's a very powerful and also kind of a gamification experience that I get the same benefits as meditating without the negative. The negative feeling I have when meditating, because then I have to sit still and try to focus and to breathe. And now I can just have the same results or better results even with this device.
Sounds amazing.
And I think, and also maybe that's also for entrepreneurs, I think interesting is the whole stoic way of approaching life, and that's something that was really profound for me to learn how to deal with adversity, because that happens when you build a business. Then many things go wrong, and you have to deal with it. And so I know when one time, so in the beginning, the first years, Bulletproof was our biggest brand. And then suddenly they changed their warehouse in the United States. And the warehouse was not able to ship international orders. and even not ship bigger volumes. So we were out of stock for 4 months, and it was about 60% of our sales at that time. So the whole business collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a customer in Poland, and he asked me, "Okay, Eduard, how are you?" And then I started to complain about, everything. And then he wrote me one sentence, and he said, "Eduard, you just have to learn to deal with it." One sentence. And then that it was such a powerful reply. I thought, okay, yeah, I should not feel sorry for myself. I just have to learn to deal with it. And then from that moment on, I took every adversity, every negative thing as an opportunity to come up with better solutions. And the whole idea that you can only influence the things that you are in control of, and the other things are just a given, and you have to deal with that, what is a given. That makes such a big difference because it's you have way less stress when you just say, okay, it happened, it sucks. And what are we going to do about it? And how can we benefit from this happening? And that's also what happened, with the electrolytes I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So last year, Element for LiveHelfi was our biggest brand because it was so popular. And then from one day on the other, they decided to stop selling to Europe.
What? No.
And then you receive that mail. It's the biggest brand in the shop. And then, what the fuck? What are you doing now? And then within a day, we decided to create the NoordCode electrolyte as an alternative for the Element. And so the whole team, we put all our effort in finding the right producer, getting the formula in place, and making sure that we have the first batch the moment that we run out of stock of the Element products. And then we could launch a campaign and said, okay, this is the alternative Element, the European version. And it was an instant success. So the disaster turned out to be extremely beneficial for us because we had now a extremely good performing product instead of just reselling another brand. And so that's what I also try to get across to my team members, that every time with something happens, when the customer is complaining, when there are all the time things are happening, that I tell them, okay, we should be happy now because there is an opportunity to deal with it. And it makes a lot of difference. And
Such an important message. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, I don't know if they are interested in some of my lessons building a business. I think if you ask me what success factors are, then one of the most important things is that we started without any money. So the first investment was 10,000 euros, and then the rest, I didn't put any money in the business anymore. And the moment that we start earning, we put it back in the business. But I always keep the balance in a way that so the bank, the amount of money on the bank, so low that we always have to think twice about where do we want to spend the money on. And I think that approach helped me a lot to build a profitable business and to make the right decisions along the way. Because when you start earning money, then you also become more luxurious in your decisions. And then, okay, we have enough money on the bank, we can do it, and we can spend money on that and that. But keeping it as low as possible to have to consider money still a scarce product. I think it's very beneficial for people when building companies. And another thing, I think, an extreme focus on the customer. I think that's as the CEO, I read all the testimonials, all the reviews that we get, all the complaints. I want to know them and to learn and to see how we are doing. And testing, I think that's also a very important thing. Before you scale, you have to test your concept first. And there are so many entrepreneurs. They raise money, and then they start to market their product while they are not knowing if it is the right product market fit.
Right.
And when you spend a huge amount of money in getting resellers or other companies, people buying your product, without knowing for sure that the product as such is the perfect product that you can bring to the market, then it's a recipe for failure. Because then you know that in the end, when you see the retention rate and people are not coming back and not buying your product again, that the product as such is not good enough. And then you wasted all that money for nothing. And so that's something that we also learned ourselves. And so we had our own failures, launching products that didn't work. And I really, really see the benefits of being very agile, testing it in the market first before you start spending money on scaling up.
Right. Those are great strategies for sure. Thank you so much for sharing. So the last question for today is, where can our listeners find you online if they would like to connect with you or just learn more about you?
Yeah, so of course our websites, and that's livehelfi.com and NoordCode.com. I am on Instagram, but I'm not very, very active on Instagram. That's still something I have to figure out. That's Eduard de Wilde. On Instagram, I'm more active on LinkedIn. So if you search for Eduard de Wilde on LinkedIn, then you can find my profile and then you can also connect with me. Yeah.
Awesome. Eduard, thank you so much for being on my show today. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you. And again, it was an honor to be on your show.
Take care and talk soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. That's a fantastic, easy, and zero-cost way to help the show grow. Just use the link in the show notes and make my day. Want more? For quick, actionable tips and insights to guided meditations and a side of biohacking, join my inner circle and get access to exclusive subscriber-only content. Again, just use the link in the show notes to join the tribe. Thank you for your support and see you on the other side. Take care and talk soon. Bye.